All right, welcome back. It has been too long, but I'm happy to be making another video, especially a vanilla extract video. Now, we've been playing this world, I'll give you a quick look around. We've been playing this world for about a month, maybe a little bit more. So we have some data packs and plugins similar to last season. Let me run down those real quick, but the idea is that they, improve our gameplay experience without changing the feel of the game too far from vanilla. So our first one, we have a plugin called Mcmmo that adds skills. So if I do something like MC stats, you can see all my skills. You level them up when you do things related to that. If I run over here and I want to cut down a tree, um, it refreshes in 5 minutes, but you can do something like this and you can cut down a tree super quick. Just saves time, nothing too crazy. I have silk touch, so I didn't get any saplings. Unfortunate. I should go plant some. But there's that one. Yeah, so that's one. We have dynmap, which just allows us to see the map of the world in a web browser. That's helpful. And then for data packs. So we have a bunch of small data packs from Vanilla Tweaks. I'll make sure to link all these things in the description. But we have things like anti-enderman grief, so enderman can't pick up blocks. We have gravestones, where if you die, your stuff just sits in like a little, it's a stone wall, but it sits in a little gravestone instead of scattering all over the ground. Things like that, okay? And then the final thing, and probably the coolest, which is a lot different from last season, is two data packs that work together. So they're called Terralith, and Tectonic, I believe. Yeah. So they just add some new biomes. They add a little bit of different terrain generation. You can see these birch trees are taller than they usually would be, a little bit different. You might have seen some floating island biomes. If we fly up, some interesting mountain biomes there. Let me see if I can show you these. I don't know what they call them. They're like geyser biomes. They might just be called Yellowstone or something like that. Pretty sure there's one right over these trees. Yeah, there's also some unique forests. I think that's like a Siberian forest, the orange trees. But they use default blocks. They just change the color of the leaves. Yeah, so here's our biome. What's this called? Oh, just Yellowstone. Yeah, it's got some geysers. Not the biggest one, but this is pretty cool. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. We don't have a home biome like we did in previous seasons. Or not home biome. We don't have a home plugin, so there's no teleporting. But we're making do, and I think it's fun to design some interesting methods of transport. I'm here flying in the sky. There's two other things I want to touch on. So those two terrain generating data packs, they can change villages. So this is our default village, and then over here there's a chance that they can spawn as this custom village. Pretty cool. I think some other structures like villager outposts and witch huts also have a chance to do that, which is awesome. And then the other thing is I am using distant horizons. If you noticed how far I could see, like I'm pretty far away from spawn right now and I can see it. It just allows you to see stuff far away, and it reduces the quality of them a lot, but it's a nice touch. It can be especially helpful in certain situations, especially before we got our bearings. Now that we got all that out of the way, I think it's best that we start the season off with a bit of a world tour just to catch everyone up, and then hopefully I can make some more specific videos and based on one building or one idea. So this is spawn, not up here, but I think right around these bushes is the actual world spawn. Yeah, so we started our little world. We made a settlement over here. Jamie quickly built his house, and then I believe Harry was working on his house, and it kind of turned into the squad's house. I don't know if he meant for that or not, but it goes all through here, and our chest room is cleared out because we have moved, which I will get to soon in the tour. But it's got some mines and stuff like that. It's a pretty sweet little place. Noah made a nice barn and a lighthouse after. And a beach. We'll have to check out that. This barn's really cool. Love what he did with the trapdoors as the barn doors. They kind of look like they slide in and out. And it was like our wood storage over here. This is a failure that I built. It was an axolotl cage, and I had like 4 axolotls in here, and they all disappeared. I'm guessing they died. So that is sad. We've got some auto farms over here. Cow farm and bamboo, and I think there's cactus. I don't want this creeper to blow up anything. Wool. It's actually been running for a while, so there's a lot of wool of each color. I have a bow. I don't know why I didn't just shoot him. Here's more of Jamie's house. We've got some little duping stations for rails. I know. Not the best, but that's what we do. And then I built my little starter house right here. Nothing too cool. Just a little thing with an attic storage. Nothing crazy. Yeah, so what else do we have spawn? We have some farms here. There's also a skelly spawner. Not much to see down there, but skelly spawner there. We've got a little farm for bones and arrows. Ooh, you know what? This guy is fun. So, not my idea. I believe Christian saw it somewhere. But he basically told us to each get 64 blocks. They can be of different amounts and different types, and just grab 64 blocks. He didn't tell us what for. He did this one by one with us, and then we just had to build like a community structure with the blocks we chose. So as you can see, it turned pretty random, and some people had, you know, like this looks like a counter back here, whereas other people had, you know, no idea what to do. Like I had all these granite, and I was like, oh, that's gross. So yeah, but it's a fun little project we'll have to keep doing. Over here is our little villager trading outpost. I'm not sure if the villagers are home anymore. I think that actually got moved recently. Oh, no, there's plenty of villagers. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, they're all sleeping. So we just had a trading thing. Harry set this up. He's always the villager wizard. All right, what else do we have at spawn? So let's look over here. We've got Christian's water home. This cherry grove. Beautiful tree in here. This is amazing. What are you doing? I always forget about that guy. Noah had a nice beach that he made and he hollowed out. Looks great. All these little towels and whatnot. Not sure why he put all the heads around, but interesting. Here's the lighthouse up close, and I think we even have, yeah, we were. You can attach leads to boats and then fly if you're careful not to break them. So we were collecting a bunch of random mobs. Yeah, when we were putting him in his lighthouse. I actually don't know if he knows they're up here yet. We'll have to check in on that. And then we have, this is a more recent addition, but this is a little crop farm. The villagers automatically harvest them. It's a fun thing. I believe Christian built that. And then right around the corner, we actually have a shulker farm that Jamie built. So that's spawn, if I believe. I think I covered everything. We're going to hop over to the creeper farm. Well, I don't even need to fly over there, but that's a creeper farm. Gets gunpowder. Awesome. Yeah, we're going to move on to the next area. How did I forget the iron farm? Oh, man. Sorry, Harry. Yeah, Harry built us a nice iron farm. If you come down here, it's a little storage for it. We have taken a lot of the iron and used it for other things, so it actually goes pretty fast. And the other problem is now that we've moved away, it isn't loaded as much. There might be some. I think there's an ender pearl stasis chamber, but I think those only work if the player who threw the ender pearl is on the server, unfortunately. Yep, but on to the next area. So the story goes that we were exploring one day, and we found this floating island biome, which is cool in itself, but the size and the shape of it compared to some of the other islands, it's really cool. It's basically a big donut, and I'll talk about that stuff in a second. But we started calling it the Donut Isle, and we were like, we need to make a base in the middle of it or on it or something. Like, this is an amazing spot to make our final base. So that's what's happening. Very much a work in progress, but this is our Donut Isle. Another cool thing is this is one of those custom structures. It is a villager outpost. So yeah, look at that. Beautiful. I think it might turn into our trading hall. I think that's what these rails are for. Jamie and Harry working on that. Now, let's get down to the actual, you know, these innards of the base. There's not really an exterior made so far. And you might be looking at this like I'm crazy, but I designed this storage system And I will preface this by saying it is by no means the most efficient or, you know, the best for resources. It uses a lot of hoppers, but I think it, you know, it works well for a server. A lot of the ones that I was looking at, you might have a shulker box that fills up with one thing, but then you take that and then those things won't get sorted. And if one person on the server takes it, so I don't know, it's a good mix. And instead of the ones that sort one filter for every item, there's one chest, those just get big and tedious. So the idea behind this is we have some items, like a good one, for example, is iron stuff. So blocks of iron, ingots, nuggets, raw iron blocks, all get sorted here. There's actually some redstone up in the center that does that. And there's some layers of that. Gold, all that kind of stuff. It gets sorted in these chests here. Same thing, like we have like end mob loot. Okay, we've got nether mob loot. Those have a couple filters that can sort a few different items. And then we have some little modules that sort bunch. So there's 17 in a row. What do these ones sort? I don't actually... Oh, these ones are just sorting. That's not a good example. Let me see if I can find a good one. I bet over here at the end. So let's see, like the glass one right here. Okay. Everything in here has a filter in it. And these all go to the same chest. They kind of work their way down there. We've got tinted glass and then every color of glass. Actually, regular glass happens to be in the bulk storage. But we've got 17 different things. And then what happens is all those get sorted out and they get put into the same chest. And the idea is that instead of having, you know, 17 different chests, we have one for all this stuff, and we'll never have a ton of it. You know, the hope is that if we're working with yellow glass, you'll come and grab some first before you make more. And also, if you need a lot of it, you'd have it in your shulker box at your build site anyway. That's the hope. We'll see how well this works. Yeah, and then things that we are going to have a lot of go into this bulk storage, which I did not design. I don't remember who designed it, but I saw it in a Mcmmo video. So things like dirt, right? They fill up these shulker boxes in the front, and then if these are all full, like the stone one is, it'll put shulker boxes full of stone here, which means, oh, I need a lot of stone. Got a shulker box full and I'm gone. So that's amazing. Like I actually put one in our auto smelter, which is above it. Let me run back. Oof, it's a lot of stuff. Up here, there's some furnaces, minecarts up there. We've got our auto smelter, and you can input stuff. It can be either, let me see if I can see this. It can either be a shulker box or just regular items, and it'll send it up and into the sorter. And we have a kelp farm up there that not only gives us kelp here, but it also fuels the sorter and fuels itself. But before I get too far off topic, so that's the bulk stuff. We have all our miscellaneous items here. And then less items that we'd probably have more of in these chests. All these kind of sorted things. We don't have any coral. I don't know why I'm looking at that one. These are like big flowers. These are small flowers. We'll probably make some glow item frames. Yeah, and it has a little input system over here. So if you have a shulker box, you throw it in here. If it finishes emptying a shulker box, it comes back here. Same thing if you put one in the input for the auto smelter, it'll come back here. And then you just have regular items can go in either of these chests. And then items that don't have a filter, so let's see, like some of these pots, certain grates, or that should have a filter, so that's a little bit concerning. Both of those should. I should really make one for soul torches, but anyway, I'll figure that out. But if they're stackable and they don't have somewhere to go, they'll go here. And then if they're non-stackable, because there's no way to really sort them, they'll go here. There are a few non-stackables you can sort, I guess. Potions, by putting them through a brewing stand, and enchanted books will go here. Yeah, so that is our item storage, our auto storage system, and the heart of our base. And we're going to build up and around this. Yeah, I can give you a little sneak peek at some of the redstone back here. And please comment if you want to see a tutorial on this. kind of put together most of these farms myself, so it's fun designing them, especially the redstone, to make them work. And like I said, the bulk storage is not my own design, but it is amazing. Okay, so I'm over on the nether roof. We don't quite have a nether hub yet, but that is in the works, and we have some really cool ideas. So shout out to Harry for making that come to life. Not quite built yet, but for now we just fly on the nether roof. We've got an old gold farm that didn't end up working, so it's just hanging out there. Here's a hoglin farm, amazing farm you can build pretty early on and get leather and cooked meat. So definitely recommend that. And then here's the new gold farm slash barter farm. Definitely got to show you guys this because this thing is a beast, and there was some spawn proofing done, and now it's much better. I didn't build this, so I don't know where this farm comes from or whose tutorial it was, but still amazing. Yeah, so you get the pigmen spawn up there, or they spawn on the magma blocks. They get forced down here. You kill them there in this chamber. There's some sorters for nuggets, gold ingots, and this is nuggets, gold ingots, and then this one is rotten flesh and piglin heads, which are fun. So much XP everywhere. And then these auto craft them, so the nuggets go into ingots, and then all the ingots go to this chest, and they go to blocks. And then this cool little system using copper bulbs takes half of the blocks and puts them here, which I think we actually use them for beacons. And the other half of the block goes into the bartering system to be made back into ingots. I know, not the most efficient way to do that, but oh well. And that helps us get, I'm not really sure how this works, I didn't build this either, but that helps us get all these items. Like, look, this is absurd. Like, wow. Like, look at this stuff, guys. I didn't know this existed. I mean, some things like iron, you have an iron farm, so this isn't super important. And I don't find spectral arrows that important either. But like quartz, and if you didn't have a different farm for leather, string is really helpful too. You know, soul speed, pretty amazing. Shout out to, I think Christian and Jamie did most of the work on this guy. Shout out to them. Next location, let's see. Definitely gotta fly back. I'll meet you in a minute. So here is a portal. I wrote "Do not enter, surprise coming." Now I kind of couldn't keep the secret very long. I was just too excited, and I knew people might have a similar idea, so I wanted to let everyone know what was going on. So it's not much of a surprise anymore. I guess for the viewer it might be. Anyway, through this portal, I've got some grand old plans. Odd times. This is kind of a start to an amusement park. Well, I shouldn't say kind of, it is. Yeah, so you've got like your front gate, and we kind of always called our servers like Odd Craft or stuff like that. Kind of an Odd Future reference, and that's the donut. So that is why the name is like that. Got these cool fences, which are actually a lot of fun. It's not quite like it, but if you watched Hermitcraft a long time ago, I want to say in like season 3, Tango Tech made Hermit Thrills, and that's just kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to make a massive amusement park that many people can build different games. And I remember his glass walls. I think he had iron and glass walls, and it was really awesome. So kind of took a new little take on that. And I've got our little flags in the corner. Yeah, so there's not much built over here. It's pretty much just this. I've got the wall here. The idea is to have maybe some like merchandise shops and some restaurants and like a nice plaza here, and then actually get to the rides, and it's going to go that way, and it's going to go up the hill. So up over here, that's where the sign is, and the amusement park will probably take a lot of this area up. Over here, this big island, well, this whole thing is one big island. It's a weird shape, but it's a big island. I'm going to build a golf course, like an Ender Pearl golf course. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And a boat track. The boat track might be throughout the whole thing, like an ice boat racing. So big plans, but that's the goal. So hopefully in future episodes, we'll be working on some of that stuff. Over to the side of the amusement park, there's this big strip of land. I think we might make a zoo of all the mobs that we can find. So that would be a very fun thing to do. We'll see if we ever get around to that. But I think it does fit the theme of having an amusement park and a zoo next to it and a golf course behind it. So this will be the area of fun. Okay, the final thing I want to show you is the blaze farm. It's a double blaze spawner built by Harry. All the blaze get funneled right in here and they get crushed and they get down to 1 heart. Very nice, Harry. He's even designed the cages like blaze heads. Pretty cool. Okay, that pretty much wraps up the tour. I hope, everyone feels caught up in the world. I hope we can build a lot more wonderful things. So, yeah, I think next episode we might just get to working on the exterior of this lovely base. I've actually spent some time in a creative world setting up a plan. So, probably put together the materials and then we'll build it. Yeah. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe and have a good one. Peace.